folks? How you doing there? This is Darrell Martin on the Diagnostic Trading Hour right here on TFNN.com. And just looking over a few things right now. I'm putting all the pieces together. But let's check out where the markets are at the moment. We got the S&P is currently up 10.5 points. We have the Russell is up 6. NASDAQ currently up 19 with the Dow up 95 points on the day. Looking on over at copper, we got copper is currently down a little over 0.5%. We got gold down about 0.2%. Silver's moving down pretty nice. They're solid down 1% move. Natural gas up almost 3%. So a nice move there on natural gas. We got oil currently down a little over 0.5%. It's rolled over. We may go in and look at how to sort of take care of that issue if that's new to you. We'll go ahead and hop in. Let's check out corn. Corn's down a couple ticks. Soybeans is down 8. Pound dollar is currently down 107 pips. So nice move on the pound dollar. We got euro dollar down 42 pips. We got the euro pound is currently up 28. Dollar CAD is currently up 60. Dollar franc up 24 with the U.S. yen up 32. U.S. franc up 24. U.S. yen up 32. Pound yen down 62 pips. Euro yen down 1. Aussie yen is up 13. Okay, so let me pull up a few things, and I wanted to just sort of dive into this with you. It's the issue of rollovers. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to redo my Ninja here 1 second. I want to close all my other workspaces and get that out of the way. Okay, so now with that done, all those workspaces out of the way, then you want to clear your cache. So if you have NinjaTrader and the market rolls over, one of the best things you can do is simply obviously change the contract. I'll show you how to do that, but also clear your cache in Ninja. There's a few different ways to do it. You can do it inside the toolkit where it has the clear cache function. You can actually go down to the folder and delete it, but then it gets stuck in your recycle bin and wastes a lot of space. So, but what do you do if you do that and it still doesn't resolve it? So, let's tackle that issue real quick, just as a just a little trading tip. Different platforms have different ways to deal with rollover. Ninja lets you really, edit it however you want to. And so, I want to go over here and sort of show you how to do that. All right. So, when dealing with rollover, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Tools, Instrument Manager. We're going to find the instrument we want to roll. So, like, I had seal 0914, okay, as you notice, and then I put seal 1014. So I'm just going to click right-click and then left-click. That'll put the 1014 in there for me. Now, I can also go up here and search it and look it up, and we'll come back to this step in a second, but this is how you find it, and you can edit it, and you can look at the miscellaneous tab. So, again, I clicked search. I typed CL, hit search, found oil, clicked edit, went to miscellaneous. So again, search, edit, miscellaneous. At the bottom, right here is where you're going to find the rollover dates. Okay, and it shows the rollover on rollover date on 10/18. Obviously, that's not the contract we're looking at. We got to scroll all the way down here to the contract we're currently on. So let's look at 10/14. Okay, it shows 8/18, and it did adjust the offset price. So let's see if that worked. Now, after I did my rollover, I closed Ninja and I cleared my cache. Okay, after I did rollover, I closed Ninja and I cleared my cache. You should see a value in there on the offset where it's filling in that gap, and it's basically updating the price so you can see the historical data merged on all the contracts. You don't have to look at CL pound. You can look at the current month, but it'll back adjust all the prices to make the chart merge together correctly. So once we've rolled over, and then we checked and make sure that's there, if there's not a value difference there, again, you need to close Ninja, clear your cache, okay? And, just so you can see, an example of clearing cache. If you're using the toolkit, it's a lot easier to clear the cache. And just to show you this, like right here, there is a settings under Tools that says Clear Cache. Now, you're going to need Ninja Close to do this. But just go to Tools, Clear Ninja Cache on the toolkit. That'll take care of it for you after you've closed Ninja. Then reopen Ninja, And once you get it all reopened, now let's open up a chart. So we're going to go over here. I'm going to open oil. Actually, first let's connect to our data. That always helps, right? Let's go ahead and connect to our data. And then once we're on, then we'll open a chart. So we're there right now. Once it's connected, okay, file, new chart. I'm going to scroll on down. Now I got the oil 1014 contract. And I like to use 12 tick bars when I'm looking at oil usually. And, we'll load the pattern elite MVP here. We'll put the whole thing on there. You should have default 24/7 already selected under oil. On the setup steps, I show you that you always want to select all your instruments to be default 24/7. And again, that's under your tool settings. So while that chart's loading, let me show you that. Tools, Instrument Manager, and then CO again. Any instrument you have in your default Instrument Manager, you should look up, you should click Edit, go to the session template, and hit D twice. So DD, it'll take you straight to default 24/7, click OK. What that'll do is it'll make sure you're getting the around-the-clock data. You're not having gaps in your data whenever you're trying to load it. And see what it's doing now is it's merging the back-adjusted data. So it's loading, this current month, and it'll load the next month and the next month. And once it gets all the data loaded, then we'll get our chart up and running and be able to go through that. So it's a pretty simple process. It just takes a few minutes for all the data to load after you've cleared your cache out completely. That can be a little bit of a pain, but what it does do for you is it does make sure that your charts are accurate and, basically all the pieces have come together for you. So I'll come back to that in a minute. We'll load up that chart, but I wanted to just take a quick look while that one's loading up. Let's go ahead and get our Forex data connected as well. We'll just put that one on at the moment. And then the next thing I want to do is pull up our news trading plan, talk about that, and some of the pieces we have there. So we'll go in and let's go back to the home page. And we had, quite a few reports that came out last night that we want to look at. So right over here on Apex, let me put that up and pull up that news plan, and then we'll be able to walk through the different pieces that we had last night. Okay. We had a lot of potential trades, but last night the main thing we were looking at was the current account news being released in the morning. That was really our main trade. We put a be aware on the pound news because there was really a lot of inconsistency. And so I told you to make sure you put those notes there. Let's see here. Let me put a note for my notes. And all right, so got that one up there. Just wanted to, I was trying to make sure I keep my notes up to date. And okay, so we're looking at the current account on the euro dollar, and let me open that up for us. File, new chart. Whoops, I hit the DOM button. So file, new chart, and we'll go over here to the euro. Flip this over to simple 5-minute bars. We'll load up the spike striker template and get that one up. Looks like it is taking a long time to load the data. If it takes too much longer, I may just close and reopen. But anyway, so we'll get that one up. Also, I always have 2 charts up and running just in case something's taking a while and I want to get some information now. So right over here, go on to Euro USD. We can go in, we can look at last night. And let's see, this trade was for, what do we have? On this one, we had the current account. On the euro dollar, we had an 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. trade. So let's dive into that. Back that out a little bit. And there we go. Okay, we can see that right over here, we were right at about 33.58. And then taking this on over for a move to 7 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Central. We're at the same price there on the other side there, 1.3348, 1.3355. So about 7 ticks of movement. And we said to expect a very, very small move on this specific trade. Let me see here. We were looking for 20 bucks, a minimum profit. And that trade worked out really well. So I hope you're able to take advantage of that one. Again, that was a core trade from last night on the euro dollar. We had another one come out this morning. We're looking at CPIs and core CPIs and, a lot of other fun stuff. We had some decent movement on them this morning, though. So what kind of movement did we have? We were looking for a pretty small move starting over here at 7 a.m. 33.49 and taking that forward to 10 a.m. 33.49, 33.13. So we actually had a little larger move than expected. That would have been down about 10 bucks on that trade. So it just moved a lot more. Depends on where you got your strikes. So if we got our strikes down here at 33.40 and it fell down to 33.12, then that's about 30. So about $8. Somewhere between $8 and $18. So that one moved a little bit more than we usually expect. And trying to sort of squeeze that trade in there on that Euro USD. Let's see here. All right, so we got that. And probably stick with 30 in the future note. Okay, so that takes care of that trade. What other trades do we have on the list? We talked about the pound reports. We got the PPI, the RPI, the core CPI, all those coming out at once. And I want to really be careful on those. So let me bring that back up and we'll look over it. But we had the CPI, the PPI, the core CPI, RPI, and PPI output and HPI. So like every PI thing we can come up with. But all those happened at once, and we'll pull up that instrument. We'll look at it when we get back after this break. All right, folks, going back here to the Diagnostic Trading Hour. Okay, here's what I want to go through with you. Sometimes you'll open up a contract like this. So sometimes you'll open up a contract on this like oil, and even with the dates and all that stuff in there, and it has the adjustment, there's just this weird gap in data. And a lot of times it's whenever you have the date following, honestly, I don't know why. It seems like it happens on weekends and stuff. But I'll roll it back to a few days previous. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll it back to 8/15. Okay, so let me show you how to roll the date back to 8/15 inside of NinjaTrader. You go right over here. You go to Tools, you go to Instrument Manager. We're going to look it up right here. So CL. We're going to click on this. And this is one of the things I love about Ninja, because a lot of platforms you can't do this. You can't manually change the rollover dates to fit for your, and then also merge it backwards. So it's being able to actually edit the database. We're going to go down here. Make sure you get 1014. Don't be looking at, 1015, 1016. Look at 1014. And notice how it has 818 right there. So let's change that to 815. Let's get rid of this. So we're going to let Ninja take care of that number for us. Okay? We're going to change that to 815. We're going to click OK. We're going to click OK. And click OK again. All right? Then let's close Ninja out. We'll go ahead and we'll save that workspace. Don't save a big workspace. We're just saving it because I just have oil, and I think I have one other contract up on there. Then just to make sure, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wipe out my cache again. Okay? So I'm going to bring my toolkit up. I'm going to click Tools. I'm going to clear the cache. So let that clear that out for me. And once that has cleared out my cache, it's getting rid of all the little data in there. It does make it take longer to open up the chart, but it also makes sure that my charts are clean, that I don't have any spurious ticks in there. Puts all the pieces together for me. Okay, so it's loading up. Now there's no data. Why? Because I deleted all the data. Okay, and so I'm going to go in. I'm going to hit File, Connect. I'm going to reconnect. Okay. And then after I've connected to my CQG, I'll go ahead and connect to my Forex data feed as well. So once that shows green right down here, and so we'll add that on. and I have a bunch of different ones, but just load up on that one since we're on the show right now. And then now that what it'll do is it'll go through, and it'll take a little bit because it's going to have to rebuild every single bar. And some days, man, there was an insane amount of ticks. So it can take a minute for it to actually load everything up. So I'm going to give it a minute to do that, and we'll go on with the show. We'll come back, and we'll look at those charts now that we've made the update. Okay? But you can see down here on the right side, you can see the status. And the reason it's taking so long is because I'm telling it to load the tick data. So every tick, bid and ask, volume on every tick, because I use time-based bars. You'll see me use 5 minutes. You'll see me use 10 minutes. Sometimes you'll see me use 4 minutes. I basically use 4, 5, 10, and I also use diagnostic bars, which are tick-based bars, which really smooth out your charts, make for really clean, easy-to-trade trend charts. And, I have a lot of them up. We'll go through, I'll trade. Basically, that's how I love to trade trends, because it makes them super clean. I mean, here's just the Russell this week on the diagnostic charts. You can see just all those nice long big trends where it's moving up, 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 up. Very, very, very clean to know when to add in, when to put on it, when to open a position, when to tighten stops, and basically let you actually ride. And if you have the account and if you can do it, then go ahead and run with those big moves over on those big trends. And even if you don't have a massive account, there's a lot of ways you can do it. You can go in and you can close a position right before the market is about to close, and then once it reopens, usually there's not a massive gap in between the close and the open there on the Globex. You can hop back into the trade and put it back on and keep that day trading margin going. So obviously, if it's going to be overnight, you're either going to need to put a stop in, or you need to put a hedge, a kind of negative spread on. So we're going to stay up all night, which isn't advisable to do over a multiple day period. But you can get some great moves. Even if you want to carry it through the weekend, you can close it on Friday. Yeah, you'll miss any kind of gap move on Sunday, but you can also miss a gap move against you, and then pop it back up on there and hop on in. Okay, so now our chart has loaded. Okay, and now you'll see we have a very clean chart. And there's still a little bit of a gap. It's not as bad. And I'll show you even how to tighten that up if you want to. So stay right there, and we'll tighten that up here in just a moment, okay? All right, folks, going back here to the Diagnostic Trading Hour. Okay, so to look at there's still a gap. Even though I went in and I changed the date, I changed it backwards, we still have the gap. All right, so let me show you over here, CL. It says, hey, adjust the price by, this many ticks. And we go and we look at it, and you'll see, if I go back over to the miscellaneous tab and I pull it up, it's going to say that it has adjusted the 1014 price by 90 cents. It's moved it 90 cents down. Well, maybe that's too much, because let's look at a 1 minute chart, because it's rolling it over technically on Monday, and so, or not on Monday, but on Friday. And so if I go back and I look at Friday, we go back to the 15th. Pull this back up. Go back to the 15th. And, reality, it probably isn't going to make a big difference, because all your live data going forward is going to be accurate. But just to help you get the most precision possible on your charts, we go way back here because it's 1 minute. Let's look at it right now. Right now we have a negative 90 cents. It's at what? 94.75 by 94.26. So we can take a handy little calculator. Okay, pull that up. And what I did is I looked at, midnight there. Okay, so again, we got, 94.75. 94.75 minus, and then we go over with the new bar here to the 01. First minute it gives us a quote, 94.26. Okay? And I know it's sort of weird, because it's like you see 2358 with 94.75, you see 2400 with 94.75, so it thinks it's linking it, but then we get that 94.26 quote. So let's adjust that. So minus 94.26, 49 cents. It actually says it's 49 cents too low. What did we have it at? We had it at negative 90. So really we need to make it like negative 41. So let's try to adjust that. Let's see if that helps. Okay, and this is a little bit, this is sort of it's a pain, but it's it actually allows you, unlike most platforms, it allows you to go in and really get your rollovers spot on. Now, so we can go in on this, we can pull up the contract months defined, and you can even feed in, e-signal, all sorts of stuff into here. But we're going down to 1014, okay? And let's make this minus 41 cents, because it was 49 cents too many ticks down, okay? Click OK, click OK, click OK. Let's see if it will allow me. I don't know. I'm going to check. Let's see if it will allow me to just reload my historical data and if it'll fix that gap or not. So it's reloading all that right now for me. And now let's try to scrunch this up, make it a little easier to scroll back to the 15th. Yep, still getting a pretty big gap right there, 95.24, 95.26. So may have to clear out my cache to actually make it roll over. Because no matter what I do, I'm just going to get that. Now the other choice I have, which I think is probably the most accurate way to do it, but we're gonna try one time where we close this down. We'll get rid of the diagnostic chart since that takes longer. But there's one other choice that you can do that's, to me, the most accurate and probably one of the easiest ways to do it. But this now made it like $1 difference. So we're going to try one more thing. Let's go over here. Before we do that, let's just go in and get rid of any change. Okay? So we're going to go to the Instrument Manager. We're going to go to CL. And we're going to edit the instrument. Down here again. So let's go back down to 1014. Right here. Let's get rid of any change at all and see if what that will do for us, if that gives us a different chart. Okay, so right now we got the 94 25 by 94.24. Basically now it's made it a whole $1 difference. And then now let's reload all of our historical data. So instead of having like an edited number that we're editing, okay, we're going to try to have like this number that has nothing on it that we're going to edit. Okay, so bring that on back to 815. And then see what numbers do we get. So with completely reloaded data, we have 9420, like it's up here at 9477, going to 9426. Let's see, so we've got to get right down. Now let's zoom in, so we get right in on the correct bars. Okay, so we got 9475, 9475. And then 94.26. So 94.75 minus 94.26. Okay, so we're still getting that 49 cents. Let's just adjust it to 49. See if that works. If it doesn't, then there's two different ways to do it. So I'm literally walking you through the entire process. If you're trying to get this thing down to the tick accurate on a rollover for merging back adjusted, then this is the fun process. Now there's an automated way to do it too. And we tried that. We didn't really like the results we got. So we're going to come back down to 1014. And we're going to say, okay, well, let's try bumping it down 49 cents. Or maybe let's try bumping it. Yeah, try bringing the past ones down 49 cents. See if that works. If it seems to increase it, then what we're going to do is we're going to make it go positive 49 cents. So we'll go here. We'll go okay. And then we're going to reload our data again. So it gives us the 75 by the 26 again, or if it adjusts it for us. If it doesn't, like I said, you may have to actually clear out your cache to do it. And then we got to zoom back out to get our data here. And then we'll zoom back in. And now we're getting like 95.16 by 94.26. So we sort of went the wrong direction. Okay, so let's go in and let's just reverse that and make that a positive instead of a negative number. Okay. So 94, let's bring it back up. Let's go to miscellaneous. We're going to go back down over here. And right there, now let's make this a positive 49 cents. Okay, and okay, and now let's do another reload. Historical data. Alright, so let's load it back up. Let's go back, and it just keeps getting bigger. Okay, so that's one of the choices. Now there are two other methods. One method is to go back to the actual date and look at the settlement prices and go, what were the variances on the settlement prices, which are actually pretty big. So if we go over here and we look at Friday, August 15th, the settlement, and we go, okay, well, 97.35 minus 95.32, that's like $2.03. That's massive. What are we getting right here? We're getting, what, 94 and 96? So it's getting pretty large. We could go in and try to make it the $2.03 adjustment, or we can just, edit it out. So let's try it one more time. We'll try the $2.03. And I mean, this is literally like, I go through and I play with this fun trying to get it exact. Usually I just let the contract take care of itself, and I don't have really problems when I do that. I may move it back a day. I often move it back a day and let it take care of itself from there. But we'll go down here. I guess technically we might want we're rolling it over on Friday, and that's kicking in on what, Thursday morning to Friday. But anyway, so $2.03. We're going to go down here to 1014. And we can do 10.03. It'll probably just make it a huge number is my guess. I don't think that's going to work. But I'm going through like every possible thing of like what I've had to figure out in order to make this thing load up. So we'll see if it's loaded up for us, or if it makes it just bigger. Okay? And at the end, you'll have, whoa, that's way too big. So obviously we don't want to do that. We can go in and it's like, well, what if we did it the other way? And I mean, you just keep playing with this and playing with it. But, or you can go in and you can do sort of the first thing we were doing before we started messing with everything. Okay? And the simplest method is just to go in and delete it, click OK, click OK, click OK, reload the data. It ought to still be blank if I do a reload. Okay? So I'm going to reload it, pull it back. We ought to show that there is a little bit of a gap there. Okay, so you see that gap. We're back to those original numbers. Okay? If I go into my instrument manager, we go to CL, we search it, we pull up the details, and we go back down to 1014. It says 90 cents. It automatically offset it by 90 cents. So it's really interesting. Like, it's automatically doing it for us. And what we keep saying is that 90 cents is not correct. It keeps trying to put it down by 90 cents. And I said, well, so the numbers go up or down if I make it smaller. All right, so if we got it at negative 90, now let's do an actual measurement. Now we're going to track our measurement so we can see the difference. So let me pull up. I'll just pull up a notepad. That'll be easy. Okay, so on this notepad, what we're going to do is we're going to log what these prices are to see, can we get them to match up perfectly? All right, that's going to be our big question. Can we make them match up perfectly? Or do we just let the system take care of itself? Because there usually is a lot of times there can be a gap, but let's look at it. We got, all right, 94.75, okay? And then we have, over here, we got 94.25. Get right into it. That's really about as tight as we can get. Maybe 94.26. Okay, so 94.26, that's 49 cents. That's what we originally had. Okay? So now that I go, okay, well, that's definitely the number I got. What happens if I go in and I pull up CL again and I search for it? This is one of those fun things of futures trading, that you don't have to deal with on whatever things, which scares people away from it. But once you get it down, it's not a big deal. So we got 90 cents down. So we're saying let's, it should be 49 cents down, not 90 cents down. So let's make it 49. Let's see if that makes it better, worse, more accurate, what it does. Okay? So let's say okay, okay, okay. Right there, let's reload up our chart. See what we can do to get rid of this gap. Are we narrowing it? Are we making it bigger? by making that number smaller. So that's what we want to do. We're going to go back now. And so now it says 95. Look at that. So now it says 95.16 by 94.26. So we're keeping the 94.26. All right, so the bottom number stayed the same, but the other number got larger. So it actually appears that we need to maybe add to that number, not subtract from it. So let's go into Tools, Instrument Manager, because it was up here like at 95 something. And let's bring up CL. Let's go into it again. Let's go to Miscellaneous. Go down here. And go down to 1014. And now let's add 49 to 90. Okay? And that'll give us, what, a $1.39? $1.39? So, like that. Let's click OK. Click OK. Click OK. Now let's reload the data. And remember, it was a pretty big gap that we saw when we looked over on the settlement page. So scrolling this on back to the night, or the 15th. Wait a minute, we didn't even see it, did we? Look at that. Okay, 8:14, 8:15. Okay, so we found the solution and we got everything all cleaned up. Made it a lot easier. So what did I do? All right, the bottom number, the live number stayed the same because the current market, the current contract's price is not going to change. It's going to back adjust the previous contract months. And it basically said, hey, it's 50 cents or it's 49 cents above, and we had negative, basically, like we said that it was the Ninja Trader said that the current oil contract was 90 cents below the previous contract. But when we looked at this as of midnight, at least, it was actually an additional 49 cents below where it thought. An additional 49 cents. Right? Because the current contract month doesn't change. So when we saw that it was 49 cents more below, and it said it was negative 90 below, it's like, oh, no, actually it's negative $1.39 below. So we had to add 49 cents to that 90 cents. So by making it $1.39 on the adjustment on oil, okay, so again, I'll show you that again just to make sure you got it. It said negative 90, but when I made it $1.39 on the 1014 contract, and then lined up the oil contract perfectly, historically, with the live one. So it's not as big of a process as it looks like, but I want to go through all the little steps, and then I'll re-summarize them for you after this break. All right, welcome back here, folks, to the Diagnostic Trading Hour. So I want to take all of this, and I reset everything to where I had it before, so I can summarize this in a couple minutes for you. Make it nice and simple. Okay? So we're going to make this really easy. And I reset it to where the dates were at before even. Okay. So sometimes when you do rollover, when rollover takes place, you'll see a gap in data. And a lot of times that happens on the current day that you're trading. Okay, for instance, this is 8/18. I got on Monday. So there's two things I like to do. The first step that I'll do to fix this, to get rid of this gap in data, first I want to have a full trading day that I choose. I don't want to have it happen like on a Monday. I don't want it to be on the current day. I want it to be on the previous full trading day. So I'm going to go over here to Tools, Instrument Manager, and I'm going to click on CL. I'm going to search CL. I'm going to click here. I'm going to click Edit. And then I'm going to go under Miscellaneous, scroll on down to the bottom where it defines the contract months, and then find my current contract, which is 1014. I'm going to click on 1014, and I'm going to change the rollover date to the previous day's full trading day. So Sunday was a trading day, but it wasn't a full trading day. I'm going to change it to the 15th. And I'm going to click OK, and then OK, and then OK. Now, I'm going to bring up my chart on oil, and I'm going to reload my historical data. And here's what we're going to see. We're going to see that there is an offset there, and that offset will be now on the 15th instead of the 18th. Well, that doesn't help us. We still have that big offset. And then we're going to write down the prices. So we got 94.75 and we got 94.26 right there, like the last quote and then the next quote. You'll see where that gap is between the gap. So I captured that. That was a change of 49 cents. The front month, 10/14, is not going to change because that's what 10/14 is. It's not adjusting your current month. It's adjusting your previous month. And it's saying, hey, the front month is 90 cents lower than the previous month. But the real, it's 90 cents lower. But really, it's actually even more low than that. It's more than 90 cents lower because if it had that difference, it'd be easier. So we found that there's a 49-cent difference between this close and this close. So if there is a 49-cent difference, then I need it to be 49 cents. I need the back month to not just be 90 cents lower. I need it to be $1.39, 90 plus 49 cents. So I need it to be $1.39 lower. So I'm going to go back on over. I'm going to go to Tools. I'm going to go to Instrument Manager. Again, I'm going to pull up CL. And remember, it said it was 90 cents lower, but we found that it was still 49 cents lower. And so I don't want it to be anything lower, right? So we're going to go down here to the very bottom. We're going to choose our 10/14 contract, and we're going to make this $1.39. So 90 cents plus 49 cents. And then click OK, OK, and OK. And now, let's just bring up the chart. Let's reload all the data. And once that's loaded up, we can go back and we can look at the 18th, the 17th, and now we got the 15th. And notice we no longer have that gap in data. Okay? So we had to figure out how much higher was it. It was 49 cents higher, so let's go ahead and bring it down 49 more cents. That's why we wanted $1.39. We already brought it down 90 cents, but we needed to bring it down $1.39. So we added that 49 cents to the 90 cents. We have a $1.39 negative adjustment, and that's the difference between September's contract and October's contract as of midnight was $1.39. And that's why you can't just use settlements, because we're looking at the midnight price, because for whatever reason, that's when the system rolls it over. And that's how you can adjust the gaps on a rollover whenever you see a gap in data, which can mess up your charts. So it's real easy to look at. You just got to figure out that difference, and either you add it or subtract it to the number that's already in there. You'll be good to go. And also set it back one day, so that way you have it on a full trading day before the current trading day, and you should be able to get it fixed. If you have any questions, let me know.